A dead man, a cryptic note, a book of Persian poetry, and a code that remains unsolved to this very day. This isn't the plot of a spy thriller. It's a real case from Australia. And more than 70 years later, we're still asking, who was the Somerton Man, and what does Tamam Shud really mean? Let's start at the very beginning. It's the 1st of December, 1948. The beach at Somerton, near Adelaide, is quiet. But as morning comes, passers-by notice something unusual. A man, dressed neatly in a suit and polished shoes, lying against a seawall. At first glance, he looks like he's just asleep. But as police quickly discover, he's dead. There's no blood, no wounds, nothing out of place. But here's the kicker. The man had no identification. No wallet, nothing. No driver's license, no labels on his clothes. In fact, every single clothing tag had been carefully cut out. When the autopsy came, things got even stranger. His heart was normal, his organs intact, except his stomach. It showed signs of poisoning, but no trace of poison was ever found. Even modern testing hasn't solved that puzzle. So we have a healthy man in his 40s, well-groomed, who suddenly dies on a beach with no ID and no clear cause of death. Already, suspicion starts brewing. Was this suicide or something far darker? A few days later, investigators searched his possessions more carefully. Inside a tiny pocket of his pants, a pocket so hidden that even seasoned officers almost missed it, they found a slip of paper. On it were just 2 words, Tamam Shud. It was neatly rolled up, torn from a book. The words are Persian, meaning it is finished, or the end. Immediately, police connected it to a famous book of poetry, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. But whose book was it? And why would a dying man carry those words in his pocket? A breakthrough came when someone found a copy of the Rubaiyat in a car parked near the beach. The back page had a section torn out, exactly where Tamam Shud would have been. But that wasn't all. Inside the book, police found a phone number and a string of random letters written like a code. To this day, cryptographers have tried and failed to decode it. Some think it's a cipher used in espionage. Others believe it could simply be the man's private notes. And the phone number, it led police straight to a woman in Adelaide, a former nurse named Justin. When police visited her, she denied knowing the man. But when they showed her his body, witnesses claim she nearly fainted. She insisted she had no connection, but the copy of the Rubaiyat had been gifted to her years earlier by someone she knew. This led many to suspect that the Somerton Man and Justin had a past, maybe romantic, maybe professional, maybe something secret. Some even theorized that the man could have been the father of her son, who bore a striking resemblance to him. Now, let's talk theories. One is suicide. Perhaps the Somerton Man had been rejected by Justin and ended his life near her home, carrying with him the poetic phrase, "It is finished." Another, espionage. Remember, this was the Cold War era. Strange deaths, codes, and poisons were not uncommon in the spy world. Could the Somerton Man have been a spy, assassinated with an untraceable poison? Or was it murder with a personal motive? Someone who wanted him silenced, who stripped him of identity and left behind a cryptic trail. For decades, the case went nowhere. But in 2021, Australian authorities finally exhumed the Somerton Man's body to perform advanced DNA testing. In 2022, researchers claimed to have identified him as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne who had vanished around the same time. DNA linked him to living relatives. But even with a name, the story is far from over. Why was he in Adelaide? What was his connection to Justin? Was he really just a man down on his luck? Or something far more mysterious? Over 70 years later, the Somerton Man still holds on to his secrets. A book of poetry, a coded note, a dead man with no name. Even with DNA breakthroughs, the motives and circumstances are lost to time. So I'll leave it to you. Was this a simple case of a man ending his own story, or the perfect cover-up of a Cold War spy? Let me know your theory in the comments, because in mysteries like this, every detail matters, and the end is never really the end.